Hi everybody, it's Dr. Brockenshire, and as you know, summer is here and we want to get into the CBD craze that's hit the market, it's hit the airwaves. You're going to be running into it everywhere you go. When you talk to family and friends, it seems like you can't go anywhere without seeing a sign for CBD available here. And as kind of a local expert on the subject, one of my pet peeves is people talk about CBD, but they really don't know anything about the chemistry or what system it's working on. So, in a very brief discussion, what we're going to do today is talk about the endocannabinoid system. That's the ECS, and how it relates to CBD. And the reason we're having this discussion is in December, the Farm Bill legalized industrial hemp. So, to catch you up, for 2019, it's been legal to use industrial hemp extracts. Hemp is not marijuana. Hemp is cannabis sativa. So we are able to use and test extracts made from hemp. Now, those extracts are typically oil-based, and the big buzz is around CBD, or cannabidiol. So you can see it over here, cannabidiol. This is a phytocannabinoid found in the hemp plant. Basically what it does is when you take cannabidiol or CBD orally, it helps your brain and body maintain healthy levels of its own naturally produced cannabinoids. So we already make this stuff in our body. When you take it orally, it helps you use what you have and keep what you have better and longer. So CBD is not a cure for anything. What it does is it helps your brain and body do what it was already designed to do. But in today's world, with today's stressors, most of us have burned out that endocannabinoid system. When you look at the system based on what receptor sites go where, the main receptors that we're talking about with respect to CBD are the CB2 receptors. Okay? Now, when we talk about marijuana and THC, those are primarily CB1 receptors. So when you use the word CBD or hemp oil, you're talking about CB2 or cannabinoid 2 receptor sites. Those are primarily found in the gut, in the spleen, and the liver. And that's why it's important to use an oil form and not a tincture form. The oil goes through the digestive system, it goes through the liver, the colon, pancreas, so on and so forth, and it helps satisfy those receptor sites. So in a nutshell, you take CBD orally in the form of a whole hemp extract or a full spectrum hemp extract, and you can talk to these receptor sites through the body. Sounds pretty good. Well, the endocannabinoid system is separate from our nervous system, it's separate from the immune system and the hormonal system. The ECS, or endocannabinoid system, basically ties everything together. So you may have heard of the fight or flight system, or its sister, the rest and digest system. That would be your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. If we were to apply those words to the endocannabinoid system, you would be thinking along the lines of the system that allows you to relax, forget about it, sleep, feel protected, and eat. So it's a pretty important system, and as humans, we're actually hardwired to try and balance this system. So some researchers have concluded that without the endocannabinoid system, being human would be pretty miserable. So we have a lot of backdoors and switches to help us stay happy using the system. One of the interesting things that happens in this system is that metabolic syndrome and obesity really challenge the way this system can keep us happy. And so for those of us that are addicted to food, particularly things like ice cream and sugar, using CBD type tools can help with that food addiction. And one of the interesting things about metabolic syndrome and obesity is that these G protein coupled receptors can be influenced by cannabidiol and other phytocannabinoids. So we may be looking at CBD as a possible tool in battling obesity vis-a-vis weight loss. Stay tuned for that. We also have heard the news that CBD may have helped people with pain. Well, we know how that works. The scientific literature is clear on how that works and what it does, and we know it works to the immune system and the spinal cord. But one of the issues with CBD and pain is that if you're morbidly obese, it's not going to work that well. So we still have to work on staying healthy. CBD is not a fix-all. It works better in people who are already healthy and well-nourished. So keep that in mind. This doesn't solve nutritional problems. In a way, it helps the body perceive the issues more completely. And so another interesting fact with CBD is a lot of us have back pain and shoulder pain because it's being referred from our gut. And we know that inflammation in the gut can refer pain to the back particularly. So for those of you that know you have leaky gut or have always wondered, hey, maybe I have leaky gut, or you have leaky brain or leaky lung or leaky skin, leaky liver, or anything else that could leak, leaky ears, leaky sinuses, the CB2 receptors, when satisfied, can help modulate that inflammation. And so this is one of the reasons CBD has been so good for the gut. We also know that much like intense exercise, things like CBD can help you feel better. The same with a good chiropractic adjustment. So when the joints are manipulated, when you hear those noises, or pretty much any hands-on therapy, those types of therapy can stimulate the release of our own natural CBDs. So it's logical then that a chiropractic situation would want to look at using CBD to get you that sort of take-home adjustment. Like I mentioned, with exercise, you can also do similar effects. So it's still important to exercise. You still need to eat right. You still need to take the supplements that your body needs. But what hemp oil extracts do for us is help bridge that gap. And so far, we know of over 100 different types of cannabinoids, but the research is focusing on CBD and THC. And just remember that hemp-derived CBD has less than 0.3% THC. So hemp-derived phytocannabinoids are non-psychoactive. And you look at all the research and you wonder, well, if this is just too good to be true. So why can't I go to Family Video and buy CBD? Why is it in every truck stop? What is going on? Well, what we've noticed over the last few years in using these types of tools is, number one, about 90% of the products on the market are contaminated and are counterfeit. So they might not even have hemp in it. And remember that CBD is an actual drug. Okay, there is a prescription form of CBD called Epidiolex. And you can't legally just put the compound CBD into an oil and sell it as hemp oil. So a lot of products out there aren't what they say they are. The other issue is there's no way to know if what's in that bottle is real. Even professional grade products come with no third-party verification. It's basically just well, trust me, it's safe. And as you know me, I don't buy that. I want third-party verification on everything. Most of the products out there are extremely overpriced for what you're getting and are also underdosed. And when it comes to dosing CBD, that's where there's a lot of misinformation because they don't understand the chemistry. So when you get into the my CBD is better than your CBD, well, we really have to clarify the language. Are we talking about an isolate? Is it pure CBD, like the drug Epidiolex? Is it a whole hemp product where they use the entire plant to create an oil? Or is it a full spectrum hemp oil where they use key parts of the plant to produce the best full spectrum oil? So these are questions you want to ask when you're using CBD. Now understand that the price issue is a big deal because this stuff is expensive. And the average going rate for good quality, organic, clean, third-party verified CBD is roughly 15 cents per milligram of CBD. And you need roughly 30 to 60 milligrams of CBD daily to really prime that endocannabinoid system. So it's not a cheap process. And some of the products that I've used I was kind of disenfranchised with the pricing structure as they continued to go up in price. But more importantly, I was rather disgusted with the taste. And if some of you have used our older CBD products, you know what I'm talking about. When you get into the greases and the pastes, while they are full spectrum, they're also really hard to get down because of a taste barrier. The thing is, though, you have to taste it. Okay, capsules don't work that well. We want activity from the minute it touches the mouth all the way through the gut. So I don't want to rely on that person's digestive system to digest the capsule. Looking at all these challenges, what we had to do then was just make our own. So in working with some farmers in Colorado and their chemist, I was able to design kind of my dream version of hemp oil. And so we're working with a full spectrum hemp oil. It's not a whole hemp oil. We focus on using the flowering tops of the plant rather than the seeds and stalks. The reason for that is it gives us a much cleaner oil, much more CBD per milliliter, but it also gives us all of the other phytocannabinoids that we're able to quantify on third-party analysis. And so the sweet spot here is being able to get 30 milligrams per milliliter of oil. The second sweet spot is it doesn't taste bad. It's very subtle, and you can see in the dropper it's also very clean. And so the feedback so far has been great, and the number one thing I hear is A, it works, and B, it tastes clean. We're also putting it in a fractionated coconut oil, or an MCT, because it's more stable than most other oils, and it also tastes better. This is the lowest allergenic product I was able to make. So I haven't found anybody yet that's allergic to hemp. The other part here is this is a 2-ounce bottle. Okay, so it's 60 milliliters, and you're getting a total of 1,800 milligrams of CBD per bottle. Quantified, that's what's on the label. So there's your dropper. Your dropper's metered. 1 milliliter twice a day gives you 60 milligrams total in a 24-hour period, and the literature supports that dose. So what do we have? We got a 1-month supply in a bottle. We went with a black frosted glass, so it's protected from light. I haven't seen anybody else do that yet. It also has a child-proof cap on the dropper. Not that hemp oil is not safe for children, but like anything else, you want to be cautious. You want to be educated in what you're using. So that's what I was able to put together. That's what I've been doing for the fourth quarter of 2018. And so far, we've had great feedback. And one of the things I mentioned earlier was third-party testing. So the old adage, you show me mine, I'll show you yours. And I challenge any other maker of hemp oil to throw down a third-party assay. So once I received our first batch, I sent it to the lab, paid some money, and they were able to analyze it. So they literally opened the bottle, took some of the oil out, analyzed it, and what we have here is 31.32 milligrams of CBD from that 1 milliliter. 1.9 milligrams of THC from the 1 milliliter. So that's way less than the 0.3% allowed by law. So we are quite under the limit for THC, which is great. And then you notice there's these other phytocannabinoids like CBG and CBC. Those won't show up in a CBD extract, and that's why we're using a full spectrum hemp. The interesting thing here is the label claim is 30 milligrams of CBD per milliliter. They're saying that we're getting actually 31.3. So you're actually getting more CBD than you're paying for. Another way to look at it is there's the cannabidiol in red, CBD. The THC is barely detectable on the chart. The CBG and the CBC do show up, so you know this is a whole hemp product. It's full spectrum. So this is the way to go. Now there's going to be a lot more information on this as we go through the year. I'll try to keep everybody up to date, but this is what we know for right now. CBD has been shown to do all these wonderful things. And in our full spectrum hemp, we also have CBC, which does these amazing things, and CBG at appreciable levels. So one of the best uses for the full spectrum hemp is aiding in sleep. It's powerful stuff. We've thoroughly beta tested it. We can't get enough of it. And you can get more information from the website. If you want to know more, stay on, and I'm going to give you a quick video that describes it a little differently.
CBD, short for cannabidiol, is a non-psychoactive compound in cannabis responsible for many of cannabis's medical benefits. On the other hand, THC, short for tetrahydrocannabinol, is the psychoactive compound in marijuana that causes the high associated with cannabis use. They are two completely separate cannabinoids, which are a class of chemical compounds that interact with special receptors in our body called cannabinoid receptors. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, an American neurosurgeon and CNN's chief medical correspondent, changed his stance on the prohibition of cannabis while investigating its powerful therapeutic properties and witnessing CBD successfully treat Americans. He shocked mainstream America, saying, "We have been terribly and systematically misled for nearly 70 years in the United States, and I apologize for my role in that." Through Dr. Gupta's review of the history of cannabis, he found that it has been a legitimate medicine for at least 3,000 years. And Dr. Gupta isn't alone in supporting cannabis research. The director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse, Dr. Nora Volkov, testified before the Senate saying that CBD appears to be a safe drug with no addictive effects, and the preliminary data suggests that it may have therapeutic value for a number of medical conditions. Research has shown that CBD can influence many conditions and bodily functions, including inflammation, neuropathic pain, autoimmune disease, energy regulation, metabolism, reproductive function, appetite, depression, anxiety, and even cancer. But how can one cannabinoid affect so many bodily processes without causing adverse side effects? The answer lies in our biochemistry, the natural intelligence of the body. We have naturally occurring cannabinoid receptors all over our body that interact with CBD. We have these receptors because our body is constantly making its own cannabinoids. These receptors and cannabinoids make up most of our endocannabinoid system, or ECS. Our ECS is always in action, and if functioning properly, is a major factor in keeping us healthy. Many doctors now think that some people suffer from an endocannabinoid imbalance, known as clinical endocannabinoid deficiency, or CED. People suffering from CED may benefit by supplementing with cannabinoids such as CBD. CBD is the most abundant cannabinoid in hemp, a cannabis crop the federal government allowed individual states to legalize in the 2014 Farm Bill. Hemp-derived CBD is legal in all 50 states, is non-addictive, does not cause a high, and is easy to incorporate into your current health routine.